Imagine being trapped on an isolated island, surrounded by icy, treacherous waters, in a prison known as Inescapable. Yet in 1962, three daring prisoners defied the impossible, setting off one of the most legendary prison escapes in history. How did they do it? What drove them to risk everything, and where did they end up? In this video, we'll uncover the secrets of their plan, revealing little-known details and surprising twists that make this story as intriguing as it is mysterious. Stay with us as we dive deep into the night. Three men tried to outwit Alcatraz itself. Alcatraz wasn't just any prison, it was America's ultimate fortress. Located on a rugged island in the middle of San Francisco Bay, it was designed to hold the most dangerous criminals, cut off from the mainland by frigid, unpredictable waters and strong currents. Its isolated position, along with its state-of-the-art security features, earned it a reputation as inescapable. The cell blocks were solid concrete and guards patrolled every corner. Alcatraz had strict routines, and every prisoner was under constant watch. The prison's physical layout was just as daunting. Cells were lined in long, narrow rows, with walls reinforced to prevent any chance of tunneling out. Outside, the icy waters of the bay acted as a natural moat, with freezing temperatures and swift tides that made swimming an almost certain death sentence. Escape from Alcatraz wasn't just difficult, it was believed to be suicidal. Yet despite these odds, Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers dared to dream of freedom. Their audacity would soon put Alcatraz's legendary security to the test in ways that no one could have anticipated. But who were these men? And what skills did they possess that would make such a plan conceivable? Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers, John and Clarence, were no ordinary inmates. Frank, known for his sharp intellect, had a history of escaping from other prisons, and he possessed a mind that was as cunning as it was calculated. Raised in orphanages and reform schools, he had learned early in life how to fend for himself. With an IQ reportedly at 133, Morris was the brains of the operation, able to think ahead and plan each detail with precision. He was determined to break free from Alcatraz, no matter the odds. John and Clarence Anglin, on the other hand, were more than just his accomplices. Hailing from a family of farmers in Georgia, they were known as hard workers with a close family bond. They shared a remarkable level of trust, which would become essential in such a high-stakes plan. Unlike many others, the Anglin brothers had a unique skill that would play a crucial role in their escape. They were strong swimmers thanks to their childhood spent navigating cold river currents. Their physical endurance and swimming ability would give them an edge when it came time to brave the deadly waters surrounding Alcatraz. The three men formed a bond based on trust and shared determination. With Morris's intelligence and the Anglin's swimming skills, the three were a formidable team. Each man had a unique role in the escape plan, and together they began laying the groundwork for their ambitious attempt. Their friendship and shared drive for freedom helped them pull off something that would go down as one of the most daring and mysterious escapes ever attempted. Now with the stage set, they prepared to challenge the inescapable Alcatraz itself, ingenuity. Over months of careful planning, Morris and the Anglin brothers crafted a meticulous strategy that would ultimately exploit the prison's weaknesses. Each evening, using stolen spoons and saw blades, they began chiseling away at the vent openings in their cells. The goal was to create holes large enough to crawl through, but small enough to avoid immediate detection. Night after night, they scraped away at the walls, hiding their progress by cleverly covering the holes with cardboard and paint. The three men knew they would need more than just access to the prison's hidden areas. They needed a way to evade the watchful eyes of the guards. To fool the night patrol, they created dummy heads made from soap, toothpaste, and hair collected from the prison barber. These lifelike heads were placed in their beds to give the illusion that they were asleep. On the night of the escape, these dummies would buy them precious time, giving them a head start before the guards realized they were gone. Perhaps the most impressive part of their plan was the raft. Using stolen raincoats and threads from their uniforms, the three fashioned an inflatable raft. By bonding the raincoats together with heat from nearby pipes, they constructed a makeshift boat that could withstand the icy waters of San Francisco Bay. Their resourcefulness extended even to the paddles, which they carved from scrap wood found in the prison's workshop. This homemade raft would be their ticket to freedom if they could just reach the water. As the plan came together, it was clear that these men weren't merely escaping. They were challenging the very reputation of Alcatraz. The stage was set for the daring escape that would shock the world. June 11th, 1962 was the night they had been waiting for. After months of preparation, Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers were ready to set their plan into motion. In the dark, quiet hours, they placed their handcrafted dummy heads on their pillows, arranged just enough to fool the guards on their routine checks. With one last look at their cells, they slipped through the carefully chiseled holes, moving with silent determination toward freedom. The men crawled through narrow utility corridors, climbing up pipes and ventilation shafts in complete darkness. Their destination was the prison's roof, a place only accessible by the daring or the foolish. Reaching the top, they paused, feeling the rush of the cold, damp air. This was a critical moment. One wrong step, one misjudged sound, and the entire plan could collapse. The slightest noise could alert the guards, but they pressed on, adrenaline fueling each step. Once they descended the outer walls, the most treacherous part of their journey lay ahead: the frigid waters of San Francisco Bay. Dragging their makeshift raft, they reached the water's edge, knowing the currents were as much a threat as the prison guards. They inflated the raft, carefully testing its durability. Then, with nothing but their crafted paddles and an iron will, they pushed off into the darkness, heading toward the distant mainland. In those tense hours, the men faced the full force of Alcatraz's natural defenses. Icy waves crashed against them, and the cold seeped into their bones. But they paddled on, each stroke bringing them one step closer to freedom. Little did they know, their escape would soon become one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history. As the sun rose over San Francisco Bay the next morning, guards conducted their usual head count, only to discover the impossible. Morris and the Anglin brothers were gone, leaving behind nothing but the eerie dummy heads lying in their beds. Panic spread through the prison as officials scrambled to understand how these men had managed to vanish from an inescapable prison. A massive manhunt ensued, with police, the FBI, and Coast Guard scouring the bay and surrounding areas in search of any trace of the fugitives. In the days that followed, investigators found fragments of evidence: pieces of the raft washed ashore and personal belongings floating near Angel Island, suggesting that the men may not have made it. Yet there was no sign of bodies, and the currents of the bay could easily have swept any trace out to sea. The lack of definitive evidence fueled speculation, turning the escape into a modern legend. Did they drown in the icy waters, or did they manage to slip away under the cover of night, finding refuge somewhere on the mainland? Over the years, various theories emerged. Some claim the men perished in the bay, defeated by nature itself. Others believe they survived and started new lives, with reports of alleged sightings and a mysterious letter surfacing decades later, supposedly from one of the Anglin brothers. But without proof, the truth remains elusive, leaving the fate of Morris and the Anglin brothers as one of the greatest mysteries in American criminal history. This unsolved puzzle captures the imagination to this day. Did they achieve the impossible, or did the bay claim them as its own? The lack of closure only adds to the legend, sparking debates and theories that continue to endure. The escape from Alcatraz is filled with intriguing details and lesser-known facts that make the story even more captivating. For instance, the ingenuity required to execute such a plan meant repurposing everyday materials found in the prison. The dummy heads they used weren't just hastily made props. They were carefully crafted with soap, toilet paper, and real hair scavenged from the prison barbershop, making them look remarkably lifelike. This level of detail was essential to fooling the guards during nighttime checks. Another fascinating aspect is how they acquired and assembled the raincoats for their makeshift raft. The men gathered over 50 raincoats from other prisoners, carefully stitching them together and sealing the seams using heat from nearby pipes. This raft wasn't just a desperate measure. It was a calculated, well-constructed vessel designed to withstand the harsh conditions of the bay. New evidence occasionally resurfaces, keeping the mystery alive. In 2013, a letter surfaced, allegedly from John Anglin, claiming he survived the escape and lived quietly under a new identity. while its authenticity remains unproven. It adds yet another layer of intrigue to the story, sparking fresh interest in a case that refuses to be forgotten. The escape from Alcatraz has left a lasting mark on popular culture, capturing the imagination of audiences around the world and inspiring numerous adaptations in film, television, and literature. The 1979 movie Escape from Alcatraz, starring Clint Eastwood as Frank Morris, brought the story to life for millions, dramatizing the tense events and showcasing the sheer audacity of the escape. This film cemented the story's place in cinematic history, blending fact and fiction in a way that continues to fascinate viewers. Beyond the silver screen, The Escape has been the subject of countless documentaries, books, and articles. Each new piece seeks to analyze the details, present fresh theories, or reveal newly uncovered evidence, highlighting how deeply the public is drawn to the mystery. Alcatraz itself, now a national park, sees thousands of visitors each year eager to explore the very cells and corridors that Morris and the Anglin brothers once navigated. The legacy of their escape endures, not just as a testament to human ingenuity, but as a reminder of the unsolved mystery that still lingers. Did they succeed, or did Alcatraz finally prove inescapable? The allure of the unknown keeps the story alive. As one of the most enduring legends of American history, The Escape from Alcatraz remains a story that defies the limits of imagination, blending courage, ingenuity, and mystery. Even decades later, we're left to wonder, did Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers pull off the impossible? Or did the treacherous waters of San Francisco Bay ultimately claim them? Now it's your turn. What do you think happened to these men? Drop your theories in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories of incredible escapes, unsolved mysteries, and historic events that continue to capture the world's fascination.